What are we talking about today, Taryn?
Well,
Oh,
what?
about that article that came out.
If you crave luxury but need guidance, then stay tuned for magic. Welcome to Wedding Tips and Tales with T.S. Wed, the podcast where we unveil the secrets to crafting the perfect luxury wedding. Join us for expert advice and insider tips that will make your special day unforgettable. Let's make your wedding dreams come true together.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Wedding Tips and Tales. My name is Taryn,
And I'm Dani.
and we make up Taryn Stark Wyant Event Planning and Design, also known as TS Wed. We are a luxury wedding planning firm that services weddings worldwide, and we are so excited to be here with you today. Thank you for joining us.
Yay.
Yes, but before that, Danielle, what are you
Yes.
drinking?
I'm drinking tea. Green tea.
It's gross. I'm
Again.
drinking tea. Tea too. Tea for
Yay.
two. Cheers.
Cheers. No, we want to talk about that article that came out
We
in
do.
an undisclosed.
Oh, I'm glad you said undisclosed because I was going to say
I know you.
exactly where it
I know.
came from.
I know they've taken it down, which is the only reason why it's going to remain undisclosed.
That's
We're
correct.
gonna,
They took it
we're gonna,
down from both their Instagram and their blog. And it's
yeah,
a very, very well-known publication. I think that should be said.
but it's well known. Yeah,
It's a well-known media outlet.
yeah, correct.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're going to discuss how we felt about it, and honestly, it makes sense why it was taken down. But until
Yes.
then, grab your tea or something stronger.
Yeah, which you might need for this one.
Well, yeah, we should have.
Okay, so it was brought to my attention earlier this week
Mhm.
by a wedding community of which I am a part, that an article was posted by a well-known wedding media outlet that talked about.
I mean, what was the title? Do you remember what the title was?
I wish that it was still up so I could say the title. It was about um, learning how to negotiate down your wedding vendors to get the best value for your wedding.
Right. Yep. And
So
step one or two
wait,
was
wait, wait, wait. In fairness, I want to say, while I did not think this was an appropriate article or in good taste, which we'll dive into, I do maybe have an idea of like the motivation behind posting it because couples right now are, here we are, just to give everybody context, it's April of 2025. Last year was an election year, and the whole wedding industry knows it is like this all the time. This is our fourth election year. The election years are always more challenging financially for the wedding industry because, of
right.
course, people are using a lot more discretion with their money on election years because they don't
Right.
know what the economy is going to do.
Yeah.
And so wedding vendors, were prepared for that last year, and that is what happened. It was a slow year last year in the wedding industry, and so everybody's coming out of it.
Right.
And now we are hearing the word recession tossed around a lot. There's a lot of uncertainty.
Tariffs and what does that mean? And flowers
Yes,
and yeah.
exactly. And so there's a
Right.
lot of nerves going around for both couples and vendors
Right.
pertaining to finances. And so my guess is that the motivating factor behind the publication of this article was like, how can we help couples or encourage
Right.
couples to like still get married this year, which is
Right.
ultimately going to help the industry. That's what we want, but also like make them feel financially comfortable
Of
doing
course.
so. And so just trying to give them the benefit of the doubt because for the love of God, they
Yeah.
got so much bad feedback for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
As you were saying, Dani, what was the first slide of the Instagram post and the first topic of the article?
And of course, this is why it came to our attention so quickly is that first topic, that first step into figuring this out was to rely on your wedding planner to pressure vendors and venues to negotiate with them for the best possible rate you can possibly get. And you should use your planner, and that's what they're there for. And they have these tactics and really lean into them so that they'll do this for you.
Because the vendors are beholden to the planners. And so they want to stay in good with the planners, so they will flex more on their pricing with planners than they would for you as a couple. Oh.
I just okay, so on the basis, if we take out morality and ethics out of any of this, like on the basis, sure, there is some truth or like logic behind that, right? If a planner works with the same photographer and brings that same photographer 10 clients a year,
Mhm.
that photographer is going to want to say, like, consistently, I get about 10 weddings from X planner all the time, so I want to keep that planner happy. So if they ask me for X, Y, or Z, I'm going to be more inclined to do it because I get so much business from them, right? Sure, there is some logic behind that, but I think this is the it's a better saying than on our last podcast saying that Taryn hates of mine, but like you catch more bees with honey. And so like yes, you absolutely one of the perks of having a planner is that they have relationships with vendors.
Mhm.
That perk is not because the vendor then charges less, it's
Correct.
because the vendor gives you more.
Correct.
And so instead of going to, like, as a planner, us going to a vendor saying, hi, I need you to reduce this rate by 3 grand, otherwise we're not booking you again, versus, hi, we're always going to pay your full price. Last minute, the bride decided that she wants to add a dance, but it's past the time you're supposed to be here. Do you mind staying? They say, absolutely not a problem. I was going to stay anyways, just so you guys get extra content, right? Like that is a very different relationship.
It's a very, very, very different relationship. And just here's the thing. We love our couples. We are committed to our couples. Our couples become friends. We get to know their families. We sometimes do their sisters or brothers' weddings a few years down the line. Like
My favorite.
we are like darling friends with people that we did their wedding 14 years ago. And that is so valuable and important to us. And so when I say what I'm about to say, I want to just preface it with we absolutely love our couples.
Right.
We don't have repeat clients. Like we just don't have repeat clients. We our
I mean,
clients get host their wedding once with us. Hopefully the wedding sticks and they are thrilled and happy for the rest of their
well,
days.
the
And
wedding sticks. Hopefully, the marriage
hopefully
sticks.
the marriage sticks and they're thrilled and happy till the end of their days. Assuming it doesn't, assuming that there is a separation, they're probably not going to come back and hire us for weddings number 2 or 3. Like we are firmly associated with spouse number 1.
Though also, let's just try one time. Any of our couples that have gotten a divorce, let us know. Let's try
Yes,
again.
we
I
will
would like one
we
time to be
promise
like,
to
I
be
remember
on
some of you.
we promise to be on your side.
We never liked that other person.
But anyway, but in truth, like we've never had a repeat client. Like that's just not, we've been in the industry for 15 years. We've never had a repeat client.
Yeah.
However, we regularly lean on our vendors to outperform everyone else at every single event so that our events are the very best possible.
Right.
And so with this floral designer, whoever it might be, like we've had her on dozens of events and we rely on her. Like we rely on her to go above and beyond, to take the extra steps, to do the extra bouquet because she had extra flowers and wanted to do 2 designs. Like what are you thinking, crazy?
Right.
Except for that, it's because we treat her so immaculately, not only by bringing her business, but also by valuing this relationship, this working relationship that we've curated over years and respecting
Right.
her business and talent.
Well, and shock and awe, the wedding industry should not be only about money. It's the reason why we're in the wedding industry is not because it is the most lucrative industry of all time, though
Which it is lucrative, but
there's certainly
not the point.
right. That all applies. It depends on your levels and all of that sort of thing. But like the whole point of a wedding is a relationship, right? The core of a wedding is a relationship. And so like, we are in it because we love the storytelling, we love the relationship, we love the connections. Of course, we're not doing this for free, but like the core of many of the people in the wedding industry is because their love of relationships and community and story. And that goes beyond just the wedding day. That is how we build a community in the wedding industry with other wedding planners, photographers, videographers, florists, artists, like lighting companies, whoever it might be, is because we're building relationships with these people that last longer than some marriages last, right? Like, like it just does. And the reason why, to your point, that we're able to have such good connections with our vendors is because we try our very best to treat them like gold and like they're VIPs at weddings, right? They get full vendor meals, they don't get a cold sandwich, they have a comfortable place to sit and rest. We try to make the timeline make sense for their work and what makes sense for them, right? We try not to let photographers only get one bite of eating before they have to go and film speeches, right? So like there's a lot of things on the backside that couples don't see that wedding planners ideally should be doing for their vendors. And I think most do, not all, but most. And so then to imply that you should be then as a couple, I don't like hard strong arming your planner to get them
Right.
to strong arm vendors. Like what?
No, okay, okay. I have a tale. I have a
Yeah,
tale.
yeah,
So I had an inquiry earlier this year. Do you know who I'm talking about?
yes, I do.
Okay, so I had an inquiry earlier this year, and I originally was chatting with the bride. It was a male-female couple, and the bride, sweet as pie, totally loved her, like really hit it off well. And I said, okay, but I need to talk, we need to connect with both members of the couple before we're able to move forward. And she said, that sounds great. The thing is that my fiance is in, and I won't say what kind of sales he was in. Nefarious, we'll call it nefarious. My fiance is in nefarious sales, and so I know he's going to want to talk to you about
Right.
paying in cash, and that way, like you guys can negotiate there. And it was like red flag.
Nefarious sales. I hope everyone is just like thinking the worst possible things
I
right
know. I
now.
want them to too. Don't clarify.
Okay.
Nefarious sales. So I was like, oh, weird, red flag, but she's fantastic. And
Right.
so, like, surely she can't be like so different that he would be like this raging jerk, which
Right.
he absolutely was. And so the thing is
Yes.
that
Spoiler alert, he was.
he was. We get on the phone. I give him my availability. Of course, he ignores it, and then he cold calls me,
Right.
and I answer it anyways because I was excited about the bride. And he does exactly what you just said, Dani. He says, here's the thing. I am going to pay you this much money and not a dime more, but
Right.
it's going to be in cash. And therefore, you don't have to file it with the IRS, and it's going to save you money on your taxes, which, again, spoiler alert, I don't need to walk around with like $50,000 in cash. Like, that's not,
That's just not
I'm
how
also
we could
like,
do our
I
business.
am a white bread good girl. Like I would absolutely file the
Like,
cash.
yeah.
Like, I'm
Like what?
and so I basically told him that I was like, sir, I'm so sorry, but like
Yeah.
that's not a journey that I'll be taking. And you're offering to pay me less than my fee is the long and short because we charge a percentage fee. We don't charge a flat fee. And I knew it would be less than my fee.
Or at least for
And
them, we were doing a percentage, but yeah, yeah.
no, it wasn't. It was when we were doing a percentage. It was the beginning of this year. Anyways, so the guy says, okay, well, here's how I can pay you more. You are gonna, I think he actually used the term strong arm,
Yeah.
the different vendors that you work with, because I've seen your work and I like what I see. Like you have good people that you obviously work with. And so we'll partner together, and however much you're able to get their pricing down, I'll add to your bottom line.
Right. Yep.
I just was like, oh,
Hard
sir.
pass. Hard pass.
Sweet, sweet baby child. Absolutely not. Like, like the
Right.
idea that I would do it for my own gain, like that I would shortchange people that work their tails off and are worth their value, that know their value
Right.
and are
And work
worth
our
that
tails
value.
off for us consistently.
Cool.
Like
I would then shortchange them to pocket the money. Like,
for this dude who's been fresh from the start that we met 3 seconds ago. Like, in what world?
it was the most wild conversation. I just told him, I mean, I was very nice to him, of course, but I said, sir, I will absolutely not accommodate any of what you're saying.
Right.
And he was like, well, then I guess you're going to miss out on this business. And I was like, well, sounds like we're not the right fit anyway. So have a great day.
Right. Yeah, exactly. The point is, for our couples or for any couple that are looking to get into their wedding planning and start talking with planners, that is going to be a huge red flag for
Mhm.
any planner worth their weight if you go into it saying, "Hey, are you going to negotiate for me?" That
Right.
is that is just not. And listen, you might find a planner who's going to say yes, but no, you're going to get not only a lower price point, but a significantly lower product level
Mhm.
of service, goodwill. Like, I mean, even if goodwill doesn't, again, morals and ethics out the window, like, even if that doesn't matter to you, you are going to receive way less than you are saving by getting that. You want to have vendors that are excited for your wedding. You want to have vendors that are like, I heard this couple was so sweet, even if they haven't talked to you yet. If your planner is going to them saying, this couple is the sweetest, can we do X, Y, and Z? they're going to say yes 10 out of 10 times if you have a planner that respects them and respects their work and hasn't gone to them saying,
Right.
hey, I know that you usually charge this, but we need it to be this.
And I think that really hits the heart of what was so offensive about the article in general
Yeah.
was that it assumes that the vendors, because it just said vendors as a whole, it assumes that every single vendor in the wedding industry is is not worth what they're charging. Which is insane because wedding professionals work so hard.
Right.
You have to be a certain brand of psycho to be in the wedding industry because you're working from your heart.
Right.
Like you were saying earlier, it is a lucrative industry, but like so is finance, you know? And so like
Right.
if you aren't somebody that has a huge beating, bleeding heart for love and for people and for relationship and for milestones,
Right.
you won't make it in the wedding industry. That's
Yeah, it's
not
a
you.
crazy
This is a
exhausting industry.
it's
Like,
exhausting. It's
yeah.
emotionally exhausting. It's
Right.
physically exhausting. Like this is a vocational industry. This is an industry that like the people that are thriving and surviving in this industry are successful because it is a calling for them.
Yeah.
And so the idea that like these people aren't worth their pricing is insane to me. Like
Yeah.
you would never do that in another industry. It's just
And
not something you would do.
and it's totally okay because we understand as people who have planned seven-figure weddings and yet had nowhere near that in cost for our own weddings. Like
Yeah.
there is absolutely merit in saying that the wedding industry is crazy expensive. And as a couple going into it, if you don't have that seven-figure budget, because who does, like it is okay to say, oh my gosh, I cannot afford that photographer at $30,000. That's a car. How is someone paying for that photographer? That's fine. So then you look elsewhere for a photographer that fits in your range. That does not mean that that photographer has to fit to your budget. They are that price point for whatever reason, they're that price point. Maybe it's years of experience. Maybe it's the accolades they've had. Maybe it's, always it's going to be their level of service and all of that, right? But like there are reasons why their price point is that way. And if that's not for you, that's fine, but you have to like it's so disrespectful for to then say, but then you have to come down to my level for something that you're the professional in, that you have spent your entire life and career and sacrificed things for. You've missed holidays or birthdays or whatever, and
Yeah.
say, right, you're not worth that much money. Just
Right. It's like, and then like demand, it's like going to a lawyer and this person or a doctor, like this person has received tons of schooling and training and has, made partner or is a lead surgeon or whatever. And you go, hi, you're obviously you're charging way too much. Like you, a lawyer, I'm not going to pay you 550 an hour. Like I'll pay you 175. So what are you going to do for me?
right,
That lawyer's going to say, get out of my office, dude. Like,
right,
good luck.
right. There's gonna be a lawyer that will charge 175. Go book them. That's
Go
fine.
find them. Yeah.
That's fine. If that's how much you want to spend, if that is how much you value whatever that service is, then that's fine. There is
Or
no
or if that's what you can afford, which there, like you said, there's nothing wrong with that. I certainly didn't have a seven-figure wedding. I didn't even have a six-figure wedding.
right,
Like
right.
that
Not even
obviously this
close.
was 1,000 years ago, but still, like it's just not a thing that I could afford.
Right,
And so I didn't go looking for those vendors though. I didn't
right.
go talk to Jose Villa and say, "Hey dude, I love your images. They're absolutely amazing and I'm a wedding planner." And so you should do me a favor and come down in your pricing. Like I would never do that.
It's insane.
It's insane.
It's
Okay, so the long and short of it is obviously I think our opinion
Don't do
on
that.
yeah, the article is clear. But the long and short of it is that it's important to recognize that the wedding industry, at least in America, but I'm sure all of Europe agrees with me,
Yeah.
this is not a negotiating industry. That is not a common or appropriate practice, and that's certainly not something that you should rely upon or expect your wedding planner to do. And so instead of focusing on negotiation tactics, instead curate a real budget that is appropriate for what you can afford, and then do your best to try and find vendors that match your vision within that price point.
Yeah.
That is respectful. That is, and it sounds so common sense to say it, like to actually say it out loud, but some people don't practice that, and it's wild that a nationally recognized wedding media outlet didn't use common sense when considering that. And I would also just note,
and the article's down now, right? Like their
that's what I was
comments
gonna say.
flooded with professionals being like, no.
It went up like 2 days ago, and as of this morning, it was down. Like
Right.
the industry reared its head back because people were not happy, and appropriately so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just bears mentioning then, since there was apparently confusion about this matter, that this is the way of it. Like this
Right,
is
correct.
this is the way of it. Don't make the same mistake that they made.
No, you want, again, more bees with honey. If your vendors, if your planner are excited for your wedding, they're excited for you, you're going to get so much more from those vendors, from your planner. I mean, Taryn and we know, like, when we have clients that we love, we try to go above and beyond for everybody, but we'll do psycho things for clients that we love, including spending our own money to surprise them with stuff because they didn't have the budget and we feel like they needed it and it would be really pretty and it'll make them really happy. Like we surprised a client one time with parrots. Do you remember that?
That was my favorite.
I know
she was so delighted.
It was the best.
Obviously, we were in Hawaii and she really wanted parrots. And what was it? It wasn't that they couldn't afford it. It was that we couldn't, like, no one was available or something.
No. It wasn't that. It was that they made budget cuts. It was towards the end. We had like kind of pitched this idea last minute, or she'd found, I forget, it came up last minute. She really wanted it. We found a vendor and it just, of the like 10 things they were considering adding, they did not add the parrots. It was a bigger priority for her than for him.
Yeah.
And so they went with ones that they both agreed to. And so we were like, well, that's dumb. We're going to just go ahead.
We're going to get some parrots.
We're going to get parrots. And then we made her close her eyes and we showed her the parrots on her wedding day. And those were some of the best pictures. And she was so excited. And
her thank you cards had them with all the parrots on them.
Yeah.
It was so sweet.
And that happened because they were lovely, wonderful human beings who never asked us to strong arm any of our vendors.
Correct. And who didn't try and strong arm us.
Correct. So, cheers.
All right, friends. Happy planning. If you decide that you are looking for a planner that doesn't negotiate, we're here for you. But until then, we'll talk to you next time, guys. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave your questions below for future podcast topics. Subscribe, like, and let us know your favorite tip from this video. Until next time, let's keep making wedding dreams come true together. Bye for now.